So when something happens that it's a teachable moment or a shareable thing or a situation, I think that's so cool to recognize, because a lot of times
Yes.
I've heard, people will poo-poo the idea that, oh, there's not meaning in everything. Have you heard people say that? Something happens, you always try to find the hidden meaning in everything, or you're always looking for a double meaning or another. And you know what? It's because it's true. There is. And part of that is the idea that we're not just this physical body. And really to understand, I mean, I did just listen to Mary Morrissey last night, and it reconfirmed certain things that I have also known, and that's the fact that that what happens in the physical is actually the last step. So if the symbolic or whatever, that's, energetic level, something's going on. And if we don't deal with it when it comes up there, then eventually it does manifest in our physical body.
Right. The concreteness of that, what we're, repressing, avoiding, projecting, it shows up. And yes, showing up in our physical body or by something that happens to us. And it's not in a negative way. I have been through that in my life of going, some of those, those nasty things about another, learning experience, fill in the blank. And it's really, when we get to the point that it's not one of those negatives, that we start to work with it in a positive way, recognizing that, this is meant to be good, not taking it as we've done something wrong, I got to figure it all out. We're just participating in a dance, and the point of view that we take on it, I'm really willing for this to show up for me. And then we can also set some parameters in, because we have that power too. I'm really, and I talked to you about this earlier today, having this idea of how to change my reality, how to change it. And awareness and all those layers we've talked about, that works. But how do I really change my current life, my future, and change the past too? How to really move into that in a powerful way. And I've worked with the idea of making vision boards for many years now. I love that whole cut and paste the pictures and the words to describe what I want. And the whole idea of our reality being a series of now moments, like a million of them in a second. And we've chosen them through our reaction, our thoughts, our beliefs, our expectations, our judgments, opinions. And we've been creating them all along, because that's what our mind does. It creates these incredible snapshots of what we believe in, what we expect, what we're willing, what we can see in our reality, what shows up for us, and our reaction to it. And what I've imagined is I have this life that is this series, like a slideshow, of images of things and events and experiences that, what if I throw out the ones I don't like, and I have this vision of me tossing out, little snapshots out of my slideshow, and inviting in, with the help of my higher self, ones that are really useful to me, plus looking at my to-do list and my future plans and my wildest dreams and imaginings, and replacing those and just filling them in at a million a second, and continuing to do that all the time by choice, but also with willingness to be guided by what wants to happen through me. Because that's the next layer, is recognizing that below or above or all around, it's all around, it contextualizes us. Everywhere around what I believe and what I'm creating is something that's already fully created, completely created, and is full of wisdom that I can tap into in any moment, and is also dynamically, eternally interacting with me, taking my every projection and belief and experience and turning it into greater freedom and openness for me all the time, personally, individually, and in the macrocosm as well.
Yeah, everything we do affects everyone else, you know. And that's why there's a couple of things I want to share that came to me in this last, a couple of weeks, I think. But one of them was the sense of debt. And I relate this because I was meditating the other night, and I had this sense of, you know, as I'm meditating, bringing in the crystalline energy from the divine matrix above, and bringing up the energy from Mother Earth, that, you know, the crystalline core of creation, and being this conduit and letting this energy just flowing through me. And as I'm laying there, you know, and mind is kind of going empty, and I'm feeling this sort of happening, and I'm thinking, wow, it's like God is breathing me. God is breathing me. Like, I don't have any control over any of this stuff. God is breathing me, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it. But this energy is actually breathing me. I mean, I'm not making my blood pump. I'm not, I'm not sitting there saying pump, pump. It's just happening. It's just flowing through me. Excuse me. And so then I had this, you know, really this understanding of, you know, individuality, my uniqueness as, you know, my unique personality that God or the universe uses to experience itself with my specific personality. But I also was getting this whole sense of, how on earth could we ever have debt to anyone when we are all being breathed by the same source? I mean, we can express that in different ways, different religions, different color skin, different genetics, different habits, whatever. All those things. That's, you know, God expressing itself each of us as a little cell, as Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, you know, the imaginal cells. But then it's just the sense of debt that we have countries in debt, people in debt, all this stuff, debt. Well, it would be like the bird being in debt to the worm, and the worm in debt to the... So, you know, if we looked at that from that karmic kind of stuff we've all bought into, so the little worm is going to get eaten by the bird. So it must be karmic, because he's getting eaten by the bird. And so, you know, or that means, well, all the worms from now on are going to say those birds are really bad and they owe us because they ate our brothers and sisters. They did this to them. They destroyed them. But we do that. And it is silly when you think about it like that. And, you know, people could say, oh, that's way too simplified. But truth is, how can I ever be in debt to self? Like,
yes.
So our belief in this, I mean, I know there's an energy exchange. I give out, I have to receive. And I was talking to this woman about Julia Maria Lloyd about money, and you know, she had a really great saying. She said, "How you do money is how you do life," and I thought that was a pretty powerful statement. And that, when I think about, okay, if we don't actually owe each other, and we all are this expression, then it makes so much more sense that when I use the gifts that are being breathed through me and expressed through me, and making your experience of your gifts and whatever, that experience I'm sharing, then it makes sense for you to reciprocate with an exchange of another, and it has to be, in order for that exchange to be balanced, it has to be something I want. And because we don't exchange, like, everybody doesn't have everything, that's why we use money. So it really became so clear to me how we can just let go of that whole concept of debt. And it can't be debt. There can't be debt because we're all one being. But at the same time, I can see how it can be out of balance, and when it's out of balance, then we end up with dis-ease and stuff in the body. So what's, am I on the right path there, Debbie, with the...
Yes, I know from my learnings in Unity, they're very clear in Unity that debt is lack of forgiveness. In fact, I remember studying the 4T program, which is a tape-recorded program, this wonderful man who's not in a body anymore named Stretton Smith, and his beautiful, powerful voice on these tapes talking about how he was he'd been studying truth principles for so long. And he was, at this later point in his life, trying to buy a house. And realizing that problems came up with the mortgage. And when he went into himself, he realized that he had a past history with the mortgage company that he was still holding a grudge about something that had happened much earlier in his life. Went in and did, forgiveness work around it, and magically the whole problem with the mortgage disappeared. It's analogies like this that really empower us and make these kind of abstract ideas really work, And that's my understanding is, remembering his voice talking so powerfully
well, and forgiveness
about how he changed himself by letting go of something he didn't even realize was holding him back, and his whole outer world shifted because of that. Imperfect, and for me, it's not that experience of him getting his house or his mortgage that was important. It was him having that experience so he could put it on the tape so I could learn from it.
Exactly.
We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.